Hey, my friends, this is Ryan, and welcome back to Fluent Flow, English Podcast. Have you ever watched a movie or a YouTube video in English and thought, wow, they speak so fast, I can't catch anything? Maybe you understand your teacher, you understand slow English, daily exercises, and build a routine that even a busy beginner can follow. By the end of this episode, you will have a clear plan to understand fast English speakers in movies, on Netflix, and in real conversations, without feeling lost every time someone talks quickly. Now let's talk about what really happens in your head when you listen to fast English. Many learners think, my ears are bad, or my brain is slow. But that's not true. Your ears and your brain are normal. They just need training. When someone speaks in English, your ears first hear sounds, not words. Then your brain tries to turn those sounds into patterns, and finally, into meaning. If the sounds are fast and connected, your brain feels confused and says, I don't know this pattern yet. In school or in many apps, English is often slow, clean, and separate. The teacher says every word clearly. The audio stops between sentences. Your brain gets used to this school English. But in real life, people do not speak like a textbook.
They speak quickly, with emotion, and they connect words together. So when you listen to real conversations, your brain is surprised. It is like training on a flat road and then suddenly running up a hill. The problem is not you. The problem is that your ears did not train for the real situation. Think about a song you know very well. You can recognize it from just 2 or 3 notes, right? You don't need to hear the whole song to know what it is. That happens because your brain has heard that song many times. It knows the pattern. Listening to English is the same. At first, everything sounds new and strange. But when you listen again and again, your brain starts to recognize common sounds and patterns. Little by little, fast English stops feeling like noise and starts feeling like something familiar. There is one more important point. Your brain doesn't like working too hard for too long. If you try to listen to very difficult English for 1 hour, you will feel tired and frustrated. Your brain will want to give up. But if you listen to small pieces of English that are just a little difficult for a short time, your brain can handle it. This is how you train your ears. Small doses, repeated many times. Just like exercise at the gym, you don't start with the heaviest weight. You start light and then increase slowly. So the goal is not to magically understand fast English in 1 day. The goal is to show your brain the same kinds of sounds and patterns many times, in a way that feels possible.
When you do this, your brain learns faster than you think. In the next topic, we are going to break listening into 3 clear levels: sounds, chunks, and stories, so you can see exactly what to train and how each part helps you understand fast English step by step. Now that you understand that your ears and brain need training, not magic, let's break listening into 3 clear levels. This will make everything easier. Think of listening like building a small house. The first level is sounds. These are the small pieces, the way letters and syllables change when people speak fast. The second level is chunks. These are groups of words that often come together, like do you wanna or I don't know. The third level is stories. This is when you follow the main idea of what someone is saying,
even if you miss some words. When you only focus on words in isolation, listening feels very hard. You hear one word, then another, and your brain gets tired. But when you start to think in levels, you have a plan. At the sound level, you just ask, what does fast English sound like? At the chunk level, you ask, what small groups of words can I recognize quickly? At the story level, you ask, what is happening here? What is the main idea? Each level helps the other. If you improve the sound level, chunks become easier. If you recognize more chunks, stories become clearer. The good news is that you don't need to master one level completely before starting the next. You can train all three at the same time, just like you can walk, breathe, and look around at the same time. But it helps a lot to know which level you are working on in each exercise. For example, when you repeat small pieces like gonna or wanna, you are training the sound level. When you repeat full phrases like are you ready or let me see, you are training the chunk level. When you listen to a short story and try to imagine it in your mind, you are training the story level. This three-level idea is important because it stops you from feeling lost. Instead of thinking, I don't understand anything, you can think, okay, right now my sound level is weak, but I can still catch the story. Or, I understand the chunks, but I need more practice with the sounds. This kind of thinking gives you control. You don't feel like a victim of fast English anymore. You feel like a trainee who knows exactly what to practice. In the next topic, we will go deeper into the first level, sounds. We will look at how native speakers change words when they speak quickly and how you can copy these sounds in a simple way. This will make fast English feel less scary and will prepare your ears for the other levels we are going to train later in the episode. Now, let's focus on the first level, sounds. This is where many learners get scared, but we're going to keep it simple. When native speakers talk fast, they don't say every word slowly and perfectly. They connect sounds, and they reduce some parts. For example, going to often becomes gonna. Want to becomes wanna. Didya becomes didya. At first, these new shapes sound strange, but they appear all the time in real English. If you learn them, fast English will suddenly feel much clearer. Let's look at a few examples in easy sentences. Listen to the slow version first. I am going to call my friend. Now hear the natural version. I'm going to call my friend. Slow. Do you want to watch a movie? Fast. Do you want to watch a movie? Slow. Did you see that? Fast. Did you see that? These are not wrong English, they're just natural English. Native speakers use these sounds without thinking. If you only know the slow version, your brain will be confused when you hear the fast one. So how can you train the sound level in your daily life? Choose one or two of these reduced forms and repeat them many times in short, simple sentences. For example, you can walk around your house saying, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna sleep. Or you can practice do you wanta with different endings. Do you want to go? Do you want to try? Do you want to rest? Keep the grammar easy. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to help your ears and your mouth get used to the new sounds. You can also pause videos or podcasts when you hear a strange sound and try to copy it. Don't worry if you don't get it 100% correct. Just try to get close. Over time, your brain will adjust.
The more you play with these sounds, the less scary fast English becomes. It starts to feel like a song you know, not like noise. In the next topic, we will move up to the second level, chunks. There, we will see how full phrases, not only sounds, can make your listening faster and easier because your brain will start to recognize whole pieces of language in one quick moment. Now we move to the second level, chunks. A chunk is a small group of words that often appear together and have one clear meaning. Native speakers do not hear every word one by one. They hear these groups as a unit. For example, "Do you want to go?" feels like one piece, not four separate words. "Are you ready?" is another chunk. When your brain starts to recognize these pieces, listening becomes much faster and easier. Think about your own language. There are probably many expressions you say almost automatically without thinking about each word. English works the same way. Some very common chunks are, "I don't know," "Let me see," "I'm not sure," "You know what?" "At the end of the day." When you hear these again and again in real conversations, your brain can understand them in one quick moment, even if the speaker is talking fast. To train the chunk level, you can choose 5 or 6 very common phrases and practice them many times. For example, "Do you want to go?" "Are you ready?" "I don't know." "Let me see." "I'm not sure." Say them slowly first, then a little faster, trying to connect the words. You can also imagine real situations.
For example, before a meeting, you can think, "Are you ready?" Before making a decision, you can think, "I'm not sure," or "Let me see." You can also listen to short clips from series, interviews, or YouTube videos, and write down any chunks you hear more than once. Maybe you notice people often say, "By the way," "You know," or "To be honest." These are great chunks to learn. The goal is not to memorize a long list. The goal is to have a small toolbox of phrases that your brain and ears know very well. When you know these chunks, your listening changes. In a fast sentence, your brain does not panic anymore. It catches a familiar piece and relaxes. Even if you miss some words around the chunk, you still understand the idea. In the next topic, we will go to the third level, stories. You will see how focusing on the main idea, not every single word, can make fast English feel much easier to follow. Now we arrive at the third level, stories. This level is about understanding the main idea of what someone is saying, without catching every single word. Many learners think they must understand 100% of the words to understand the message. But this is not true. Even in your native language, you sometimes miss words, but you still understand the situation because your brain follows the story. Imagine you are listening to a friend talk about their day. They say, "I woke up late, missed the bus, and arrived at work so tired." Maybe you did not catch every little word, but you understand the story. It was a stressful morning.
That is story-level listening. In English, you can do the same thing. Instead of asking, "What does every word mean?" ask, "What is happening here? Who is doing what? How do they feel?" To train this level, you can listen to short clips from podcasts, stories, or videos and focus only on the main idea. First, listen once without pausing and ask yourself, what is the topic? What is the general feeling? Happy, sad, stressed, Excited? Then listen again and try to imagine a little movie in your mind. If the speaker says, "We grabbed some coffee and headed downtown," imagine two people with cups in their hands walking into the city. Your goal is to see the scene, not to analyze the grammar. You can also combine this with the other levels. While you follow the story, notice any chunks you recognize, like "at the end of the day" or "you know what." Notice any fast sounds, like "gonna" or "wanna." This way, you are training all three levels at the same time, but your focus stays on the meaning, not on perfection. This kind of practice is powerful because it teaches your brain to relax. When you stop fighting for every word, your ears can actually hear more. You start to notice chunks and sounds naturally, inside the story. Fast English becomes less about "I missed that word" and more about "I understand what is going on." In the next topic, we will put these three levels together into a simple daily routine, a 10-minute ear workout that you can use every day to train sounds, chunks, and stories in a clear, organized way.
Now it's time to turn these three levels into a simple daily routine. Think of this as your 10-minute ear workout. You don't need a lot of time. You just need a clear plan and a small piece of audio. It can be part of a series, a YouTube video, or even a podcast episode that you like. Here is one example of a 10-minute routine. 1. First minute, listen without subtitles. Just relax and listen for the main idea. Don't worry about details. Next 3 minutes, choose a short part, about 20 to 30 seconds, and use the 1-minute rewind method. Play one sentence, pause, and repeat. Focus on the sounds. Next 3 minutes, shadowing. Play the same short part again and try to speak together with the audio, copying the rhythm and speed. Last 3 minutes, quick dictation. Play 1 or 2 sentences and try to write what you hear, then check with subtitles or a transcript. If 10 minutes feels too much on a busy day, you can do a mini version with just steps 1 and 2. The important thing is not to be perfect, but to be consistent. Even short sessions tell your brain, English is part of my life every day. You can use this routine with many different types of content. One week, you can use a scene from a series. The next week, you can use a short YouTube video or a podcast clip. The key is to choose something that is interesting for you, not something that feels like a boring exercise. When you enjoy the content, your brain pays more attention and remembers more.
With this routine, you are training all three levels at the same time: sounds, chunks, and stories. It is short enough to fit into a busy day, but powerful enough to make a real difference if you do it regularly. You can do this with the same clip for several days. In fact, repeating the same audio is very good for your brain. Each time you listen, you notice something new, and fast English starts to feel more familiar. In the next topic, we will talk about how to choose the best kind of content for this ear workout, so you can use movies, series, music, or vlogs that you already enjoy and turn them into strong listening practice. Now it's time to turn these three levels into a simple daily routine. Think of this as your 10-minute ear workout.
You don't need a lot of time, you just need a clear plan and a small piece of audio. It can be part of a series, a YouTube video, or even a podcast episode that you like. Here is one example of a 10-minute routine. First minute, listen without subtitles. Just relax and listen for the main idea. Don't worry about details. Next 3 minutes, choose a short part, about 20 to 30 seconds, and use the 1-minute rewind method. Play one sentence, pause, and repeat. Focus on the sounds. Next 3 minutes, shadowing. Play the same short part again and try to speak together with the audio, copying the rhythm and speed. Last 3 minutes, quick dictation. Play 1 or 2 sentences and try to write what you hear. Then check with subtitles or a transcript.
If 10 minutes feels too much on a busy day, you can do a mini version with just steps 1 and 2. The important thing is not to be perfect, but to be consistent. Even short sessions tell your brain, English is part of my life every day. You can use this routine with many different types of content. One week you can use a scene from a series. The next week you can use a short YouTube video or a podcast clip. The key is to choose something that is interesting for you, not something that feels like a boring exercise. When you enjoy the content, your brain pays more attention and remembers more. With this routine, you are training all 3 levels at the same time: sounds, chunks, and stories. It is short enough to fit into a busy day, but powerful enough to make a real difference if you do it regularly. You can do this with the same clip for several days. In fact, repeating the same audio is very good for your brain. Each time you listen, you notice something new, and fast English starts to feel more familiar. In the next topic, we will talk about how to choose the best kind of content for this ear workout, so you can use movies, series, music, or vlogs that you already enjoy and turn them into strong listening practice. Now let's talk about choosing the right content for your ear workout. The best material is not the hardest or the most famous. The best material is something you enjoy and can understand a little, but not everything. For example, you can use a short scene from a series you like, a vlog from a YouTuber you follow, a simple podcast about your hobbies, or even a song with clear lyrics. If you already know the topic, your brain has an easier job. It can guess some of the words from context. This is very helpful when people speak fast. So if you like cooking, choose cooking videos. If you enjoy travel, choose travel vlogs. If you love games, choose gaming streams. The more interested you are, the more your ears will want to listen. Try to avoid clips that are too long at the beginning. 1 or 2 minutes is enough for serious practice. Remember, you can always repeat the same clip many times on different days. This is much better than jumping to a new video every 5 minutes and never going deep. Deep practice is when you stay with one piece of audio and really learn its sounds, chunks, and story. You can also mix different types of content during the week. Maybe on Monday and Wednesday, you use a series scene. On Friday, you use a song. And on the weekend, you watch a vlog. The important thing is that your brain meets real, natural English in many situations, not only in textbooks. This makes your ears more flexible and ready for different voices and accents. Another small tip is to choose content that matches your energy. On days when you are tired, pick something short and fun. On days when you feel strong, choose something a little more difficult. This way, you keep moving forward without burning out.
In the next topic, we will talk about mindset and progress, how to stay motivated, how to notice your improvements, and how to avoid feeling frustrated when fast English still feels difficult, even when you are using the right content and the right routine. Now let's talk about mindset and progress. Understanding fast English is not a one-day project. It is more like learning to play an instrument or a sport. Some days it feels easy. Some days it feels hard. But every time you practice, your brain is learning something. One helpful idea is to stop asking, "Am I fluent already?" and start asking, "Am I a little better than last month?" You can measure this in small ways. Maybe now you understand more of a favorite series without subtitles. Maybe you can follow a podcast for 5 minutes instead of 2. Maybe you can catch a joke that you missed before. These are real wins. You can also keep a simple listening journal. Once or twice a week, write a few lines in English. What you listened to, how long you listened, and what you understood. For example, today I watched a 3-minute vlog about travel. I understood that the speaker missed the flight and had to sleep at the airport. When you read this journal after 1 or 2 months, you will see clear progress. You will see that your ears are stronger than before. It's also important to be kind to yourself. There will be days when fast English feels too hard. On those days, do a shorter practice or choose easier content, but try not to stop completely. A small step keeps the habit alive.
Skipping practice for many days makes it harder to start again, and your brain starts to forget the patterns it was learning. Another good mindset is to see mistakes as information, not as failure. If you miss a word many times, that word is telling you, "Hey, you need to meet me more often." You can write it down, listen again, and practice that small part. Over time, this attitude makes you feel more relaxed and confident with fast English. In the next topic, we will connect everything we talked about and show how all these small actions, ear workouts, good content, and a healthy mindset fit together into a long-term path to understanding fast English speakers step by step, so you can feel calmer and more confident every time you listen. We've covered a lot in this episode, so let's put everything together. First, you learned that fast English is not a special secret language. It is just normal English spoken with connected sounds, common chunks, and natural stories. Your ears and your brain are not broken. They just need training with real everyday English. Then we broke listening into 3 clear levels. At the sound level, you started to notice reductions like gonna and wanna, and how native speakers connect words when they speak fast. At the chunk level, you saw how phrases like "I don't know" or "Are you ready?" can be understood as one quick piece. At the story level, you learned to focus on the main idea instead of every single word, imagining small movies in your mind. After that, we turned these ideas into action. You discovered the 10-minute ear workout that trains all 3 levels: listening for the main idea, using the 1-minute rewind, shadowing, and quick dictation. You saw how choosing content you enjoy, series, songs, YouTube videos, vlogs, makes listening practice more fun and easier to continue. You also saw how mixing different types of content during the week helps your ears get used to many different voices and situations. We also talked about mindset and progress. We said that listening is like exercise or music. Progress comes from many small steps, not from one big jump.
Keeping a simple listening journal, celebrating small wins, and being kind to yourself on difficult days will help you stay on this path for a long time. When you look back after a few months, you will see that fast English that felt impossible before now feels much more familiar. So now you have a clear picture. 3 levels of listening, a daily ear workout, good content, and a healthy mindset. This is your new path to understand fast English speakers step by step. In the next part, I want to give you a small challenge and an invitation so you know exactly what to do in the next 7 days to keep training your ears and to continue this journey with us. Before you go, I want to give you a small challenge. For the next 7 days, choose one short clip in English and do your 10-minute ear workout. It can be from a series, a YouTube video, a podcast, or even a song. The rule is simple. Every day, for 7 days, give your ears at least 10 focused minutes with real English. If this episode helped you, please support Fluent Flow English Podcast by subscribing and turning on the notifications so you don't miss the next lessons. And if you want to go even deeper into this journey, I highly recommend our previous episode where we talked about training your brain to think in English more naturally. It is a perfect complement to what you learned today. Tell me in the comments, which exercise are you going to try first? 1-minute rewind, shadowing, dictation, or story listening? I would love to hear about your practice and maybe share your progress in a future episode.